Okay, I'm sorry if you hear like music in the back. It's my neighbor. But some of you really seem to enjoy my story times, so here's another one. This is the time that I almost died. It's really, really bad story. Thankfully I'm alive to tell it. So one day I went to go eat out with my cousin, and we went to go eat some Chili's, and so we ate some Chili's. I remember I ate some Texas cheese fries. It was just sides, so it was Texas cheese fries, chips and queso, and the cookie skillet, because I had been a little, this is the first and last time I tried edibles, because after that I was like, heck no. No. Okay, so after that, so the edible was one cookie, and I don't really smoke or drink for that matter, so I took the whole thing because I didn't feel anything and the cookie tasted really good. So I took the whole thing when I got to my house, and I didn't feel anything for the first 2 hours, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And after that I tried going to sleep, and I just couldn't go to sleep. So I would keep waking up and time wouldn't pass. I would wake up and minutes, like 1 minute would pass or seconds would pass, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I'm so confused. I was like, okay, what? That's when I realized, okay, they must have hit, but it wasn't it wasn't enjoyable at all. I thought I was in hell, and I kept praying and praying and praying, and I was like, God, I promise you that if I live to survive, and I'll never do it again. And so I did. It was like 1 a.m. when I was going through this, and so this would have been on a Thursday, I believe, Thursday or Wednesday morning, one of those. So I still couldn't, I think it was till 3 a.m. that I fell asleep, but honestly from 3 a.m. to 1 p.m. I must have been knocked out, but I didn't feel like I was asleep. I thought that, okay, time just, this must have all been a dream, right? What I didn't say is that the whole night prior, I had, been peeing all night. I had been going like every 2 seconds to the restroom, and, the little that I did eat, I did throw it up. So the next morning, so it was Wednesday, so not morning because I woke up at 1 p.m. So I was hungry, obviously, because I had nothing in my system. So I ate a little bit, but my stomach really hurt bad, so I just ate a little bit of bread, because when you have stomach problems, you should probably eat bread. Couldn't keep it down. I threw that up. I think I went to Jack in the Box and got I got a teriyaki ball and threw it up as well. I felt awful. That afternoon I had diarrhea. In my mind, was still high. I don't think that I was, but in my mind I was. Because I didn't know what was going on. Keep in mind, I hadn't been drinking any water at all. I hadn't kept anything down. I wasn't on, electrolytes. I should have been. So I thought I was high the whole time because I kept going in and out of consciousness, and I just thought, okay, am I? But it felt so awful because I just couldn't concentrate. I couldn't focus on anything. I still thought I was. Oh, sorry. I still thought I was in this dream thing. Actually, I thought it was in hell, and it was just like everything was repeating itself. Like I was just in this loop, and I was like, I literally thought I had died and went to hell. And so I kept throwing up my food, or the other thing, and I couldn't sleep Wednesday night either. Thursday morning, I thought I had gotten better because I was a little more conscious. In all those 3 days, I do not remember drinking basically any water, maybe a cup at most. And okay, so Thursday I had woken up like at 12. I don't really remember sleeping that Wednesday. Maybe I couldn't sleep as well. But Thursday morning was when I thought I felt better. I still had like awful, really bad nausea. And I did feel better, but I was still drifting in and out. Like I wasn't really, I was conscious, but I wasn't conscious. So, my parents were working at the time, like all of the morning. So I would just pretend that nothing was wrong because I didn't want them to think that I was like high or anything. Because in all fairness, I wasn't. It was 3 days after, so it wasn't, no. But in my mind I thought I was, because I was like, there's no other explanation for this. So Thursday morning or afternoon, because I woke up like at 12, I went to eat. I think I ate some bread, and there was like a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and I was like, okay, soup should be fine. I ate it. I remember it being really good. I threw it up, and then I was like, okay, I really need to get something in my stomach. So I went to Jack in the Box again, teriyaki bowl, no sauce. And I had ate a little bit, and I kept it down. And then my dad came, and I had told him that I had a stomach ache, and he just said to take like some Pepto. So I had kept the teriyaki bowl down. He got home and I got hungry, so I kept that down for a little bit, until I couldn't. Then my dad left, and that's when I can't remember if I think it was Thursday that I started freaking out really bad. I was like, I still thought I was in this loop because I just couldn't focus. And then that's when I started like hallucinating. I started thinking that I was gonna die. I think all in all I was hallucinating the whole time because I thought I was in hell. And I was like googling what could be wrong with me, like what's wrong with me. And that's when I figured, okay, I must be dehydrated. And in my mind I was like, what the heck, dehydration could cause you to hallucinate and stuff. I was like, so I was like, okay, water isn't gonna help at this point. So I was looking for electrolytes of Soil. I was looking for that because we usually always keep some, because my dog, whenever he gets sick, we have to give him that. So I was looking for some, and I was freaking out because I couldn't find any. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like I legit feel like I'm gonna die. I can't keep anything down. I can't find the Sweato. Water isn't gonna do anything. I started drinking some water. I still didn't feel any better. So then that was like when I broke down, and I called my dad, and I was like, hey dad, I think I'm dying. And I was like freaking out on the phone, and he started telling me Okay, so at this point, I was like, okay, Dad, I can't take it anymore. We really have to go to the doctor. And he was like, okay, they might give you an IV or they might keep you in the hospital because, you haven't been drinking any water probably. And I was freaking out because I heard hospital, and in my panicky state, I was all packing my clothes to stay at the hospital. I was scared because I had never stayed at the hospital before. I had never had an IV, and I'm really grossed out by like veins and stuff, so that sort of idea was like the worst thing to me, and I was like prepared to die and everything. I was also thinking, like, in my mind that I was like already dead and people were just, I was just looming over my funeral. I really just did not know what was going on in my mind. My dad, I called my brothers and my sister-in-law. I was like, okay, I might be staying in the hospital for a couple days. I feel really awful, because I kind of wanted to pass time until my dad came home. So he came home after what seemed like forever, which was probably like 40 minutes. He came home, he took me to the doctor. The doctor is like 30 minutes away because we have to go to the doctor in a different city because of his insurance. So, I remember the car ride. It felt like forever. And I kept asking my dad the same questions. Over, because I thought we were gonna take my dog to the vet. In my mind, I was like, wait, where's my dog? And he was like, the dog's at home. And I kept asking him, where's my dog? Because I didn't remember that we were going to the hospital, to the doctor. And I didn't even remember where the heck we were going. And I knew the answers in my mind, like I knew where my dog was at. But I don't know why my mouth just kept repeating the same questions. So after what seemed like forever, it was probably an hour to get to the doctor. We got to the doctor. The doctor checked my temperature. At that point, I was just like loopy. I was just like head falling back the whole time. And she was like, have you had any fever recently? And I was like, to be honest, I have no idea. So she took my temperature and didn't tell me anything. Then I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, so you have a fever? And I was like, wait, is that why I'm sweating? I didn't notice that I was sweating profusely the whole time. And she's like, yeah, that's why you're sweating. I was like, oh, okay. My head did not hurt a bit. I was just like, or maybe I just didn't notice. Then the doctor was like, she asked me my symptoms, and I was like, I had it was like a stomach virus, and she was like, okay, so I'm guessing you haven't drank any water or sweat, which you should have been taking. I was like, no, to be honest, I didn't really know what I had. So she was like, okay, we might send you to the hospital so they can hook you up in an IV, because I had gotten there so late. I think I got to the doctor like at 7 and they closed at 8. So I was like freaking out. I was like, are you serious? Like, I've never had to stay at the doctor before, and this isn't like the hospital in my city. This is a hospital like 40 minutes away. So I was freaking out. And then she was like, okay, but for sure they're gonna have to put an IV on you. And I was like, freaking out even more. Turns out they did have the medicine there, and they were gonna have time to put it in me. So the nurse got me. She took me to a little back room, and she was like, okay, we're gonna put the IV on you. I was like, please, can you just not say the word veins? Because even the word of veins triggers me. She was like confused, but she was like, okay. But she thought that I wasn't gonna make it, so she was like, if you freak out, we're gonna have to send you to the hospital. And I was like, no, I can do this. So I just closed my eyes. She put it in. The IV didn't hurt as much as the band, wrapped around it. So they put the IV in, so it was medicine and obviously the electrolytes. It seemed to take forever. My arm was so sore. I think it took about an hour. So I was so excited once I regained consciousness. I think it was like 10 minutes after. And I just started calling everyone. And I took a picture. I told my dad to take a picture of me. And that's when I realized how busted I looked. I forgot to mention, because I forgot this even happened. During the trip, I needed to go to the restroom. So I went to the restroom at Jack in the Box close by, and I didn't even remember. I remember not being able to pee. I was like, I can't pee. How do you pee? And I was just praying, please help me pee, because I don't know how to pee. So I remember everyone staring at me, as I walked in and out of the Jack in the Box. It must have been how I looked, because I looked really bad. My hair was a mess. I was crying. I just looked beat. So when I regained consciousness, I started calling everyone. I was like, I'm alive. And I told my dad, hey, take me a picture so I could have the memories. So the hour passed, and I was like, I felt alive again. And then I remember the doctor gave me a bunch of medicines that I had to drink for a week, and obviously the electrolytes. Then I think the doctor was like, you saved my life. And she's like, honestly, it's a good thing that you came in today, cause so we went home. I had to eat a salad. I had to eat healthy for a week. And she's like, no more hot Cheetos. Sadly, I have 8 hot Cheetos, but in moderation. So yeah, after that, I decided I'm never gonna do drugs or alcohol or touch it again, because God saved my life and I'm alive. And honestly, remember to drink water and remember to drink electrolytes, especially in the heat, or if you're sick, because dehydration, the worst thing I've ever dealt with. Honestly, I didn't realize how serious dehydration could be until I was in those shoes. So please remember to drink your water, and maybe stay away from things that you don't really need to be doing, So yeah, that was my story time about the time I almost died. I kind of probably was all over the place, but I hope you guys enjoy my voice. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.